gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know that. Shut them haters up, you know we go so hard. Chopper hit up in they face, yeah, I'm a bulldog. Number one is what we holding, number one is what we stand. When you step out on that field, let them know you ain't playing. Step back in that pocket, launch it off like a rocket. Pass the pill, run the ball, either way they ain't gon' stop it. Bring that trophy back and let them know that CH got it locked up from the east to west, north to the south, and they can't top it. That defense they holding, that O-line be blocking. Check your Facebook, them Bulldogs, they tryna top it. Them corners on they job, they receivers, they gon' lock it. And don't try and punt the ball because that D-line gon' block it. They know we coming hard, they know we coming strong. Let them haters do they talking, Chopper here deserves the throne. Yeah, we sit at number one, they know we can't be cloned. Now it's time to handle business, go and bring that title on. Work, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know that. This shit is our year, so we gon' shut it down and handle that and let them haters know another L. Say we not hearing that. Blue and gold, I be wearing that. Them other teams, we not fearing that. That competition ain't nothing. Bulldog country boy, we gon' bring it back. This shit is our year, so we gon' shut it down and handle that and let them haters know another L. Say we not hearing that. Blue and gold, I be wearing that. Them other teams, we not fearing that. That competition ain't nothing. Bulldog country boy, we gon' bring it back. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know that bulldog. CH in they face, let them know I'm a bulldog. CH in they face, let them know I'm a bulldog. CH in they face, let them know I'm a bulldog. CH in they face, let them know I'm a bulldog. Bulldog.
Man, they do it big. Other teams talk big, but that's nothing. Chapel Hill state champs, I see it coming. In my town, when they see it, they gon' hate this. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. They hit the field and shut it down so crazy. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. Pass the rock, run the ball. CH in they face, let them know I'm a bulldog. Them lines look like kittens, I'm thinking who are y'all? Beat them so bad that they thinking it's 22 of y'all. Leaving their minds blown, about to bring the crown home. Other teams wishing that they could beat them, but they can't clone. They trying to act like they don't know. You see that blue and gold, 55, 45, 35, man, that boy's gone. Reppin' this sexually reckless down here in CH, Texas, state champion 2010, I claim that thing already. Now you can say we ain't the dookie, but I know you smell it. Go ahead and bring that thing home, make them kittens feel it. You know what it is. Every time they hit the field, man, they do it big. Other teams talk big, but that's nothing. Chapel Hill state champs, I see it coming. In my town, when they see it, they gon' hate this. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. They hit the field and shut it down so crazy. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. As far as I'm concerned, it ain't no competition. So shut them out and bring that title home that we've been missing. Been 21 years since we had this type of victory. Shouts to class of 89, it's time to make history. What's up, Chapel Hill? We got them haters watching, but we done came too far, so man, it ain't no stopping. No loss, straight victory's the only option. Man, it feels good to be the Bulldog. What's poppin'? You know what it is. Every time they hit the field, man, they do it big. Other teams talk big, but that's nothing. Chapel Hill state champs, I see it coming. In my town, when they see it, they gon' hate this. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. They hit the field and shut it down so crazy. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. You know what it is. Every time they hit the field, man, they do it big. Other teams talk big, but that's nothing. Chapel Hill state champs, I see it coming. In my town, when they see it, they gon' hate this. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. They hit the field and shut it down so crazy. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow.
Welcome, Bulldog Sports Network fans. I'm Brett Swinney with Corey Marshall today. Corey, it feels a little less crowded in here today.
It really does. But it'll be all right. We can do this. It's a pre warm up for basketball season. That's what it is.
Yeah. We'll see if Vince shows up. He may or may not show up, but if not, we'll just we'll talk about him the whole time. Maybe next time. Got to give him a hard time, you know. But shout out to Vince doing his due diligence at the church house tonight. So
Yeah.
he can't hate on him too bad. So,
not for that.
Corey, man, how's your week going?
It you know what? This week has actually been okay. I won't complain. It was a hell of a week this past week, but this week I won't complain at all. Not at all. The weather's changing, so that means it's basketball season coming around. So hey, I'm not gonna be mad about that at all.
Yeah, basketball is coming up very fast. We have our first game this weekend on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Yep.
The girls open their season at home against Pine Tree, so we'll have that call here on the Bulldog Sports Network. Excited about that. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight, really. I mean, for not having a game this week, we've got a lot to talk about.
But this is the most important things to talk about.
Yes. We'll get to that. Let's start out with our shout to our sponsor tonight, Zoe Knows Insurance. Zoe's our sponsor for all our wrap-up shows. Also, one of our sponsors for basketball season. Shout out to Zoe. You need insurance, give him a call because he knows insurance.
Absolutely.
So, Corey, let's just go over our picks. I was trying to remember who I picked this week because it was kind of a weird week without having a Chapel Hill game. And I think I did okay. I think I might have missed 2 or 3. I don't remember.
It was 2.
6 and 2? Okay.
Yeah, it was 6 and 2. There was a 3-way tie for 6 and 2. It was you, Vince, and Casey Joe. And I was 5 and 3. I was the lone wolf that what was that? What game was that? I picked Palestine over Lindell. I picked the long shot.
You get yourself in trouble with them long shots, man.
You know, sometimes somebody has to do it. I got to do it. Somebody got to do it. So
that puts you said Vince was 6 and 2.
Yeah.
All right, so he stays there, and you were 5 and 3.
Yep.
That puts you at 39 and 25. Vince at 41 and 23, and I'm at 50 and 14.
That'll work.
So yeah, some good picks. Did anybody else? Was just Casey Joe had a complete pick set?
Yeah, that was a complete pick set. I was missing some games from Christian and Chris, but I think that I was looking back on. I didn't see them pick any games for the Gladewater game, the ARP game. That was about it. So it's kind of hit and miss. I didn't see it, but
looks like
okay.
Looks like we got some early chats. We got some of our normal crew joining us. Christian, hey Christian, what's up going on? Good luck to your game tomorrow and at home. Home closer there against Henderson, and also Chris. So we got Chris and Christian. Guys, this is important tonight. It's just me and Corey. So just give us a shout. Give us some chats so we have some things to talk about. We have a lot to talk about as well, but it'll add to the conversation if you guys can chime in and help lead this bye week wrap up show. Kind of an odd week with a mesh of a little basketball.
Right.
So I guess we can just kind of go back and talk. So there's not a Chapel Hill game. Chapel Hill did not lose last week, nor did
Nope.
they win. They got to go take a week off. I had a week off, enjoyed a Friday night to myself. Now my Stars didn't play well. It was a rough one, but I was actually tuning in to the Maybank Henderson game from my seat in American Airlines Center because it was a little more entertaining. Corey, you wanna talk about that game? Did you get to catch? I mean, you might probably caught more of it than I did.
I
Did you
caught
catch any of it?
I caught about maybe 20 minutes total because I was actually doing something else too, and I was kind of going in and out. Um, basically, Maybank won in overtime on a last possession play on a defensive stop, and they got a stop, and that's pretty much the game. They controlled the game for the most part. And Henderson kind of came back at the end. They stopped passing the football and they started running the football later on in the football game. Supposedly they were out two or three starters. Henderson was. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that
Well,
was
I
was
mean,
looking.
I was really surprised just from seeing Maybank play the week before and how we just completely dominated them from the get go. I, I'll give Drew a shout out. Drew actually, my brother, he sent me the link. He's like, "Hey, this game's on." So
I'm glad. Shout out
I
to Drew.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, let me check the score," and it was close. I was like, "Okay," so I shared it out to our Bulldog Sports Network fans, see if anybody was interested in watching that, because that was kind of a determination of how this whole last week would set up was that Mecca Henderson game, and I was surprised. I really was. I mean, that was one of the games I lost. I picked Henderson. I believe all three of us picked Henderson
Yeah,
actually.
Henderson.
Just from we saw Maybank and we just didn't see a whole lot, and I think Vince mentioned it a few times. Like they got to be missing some starters or something. Like that was his comment that just because we were expecting more of a contest, and then of course you mentioned now that Henderson was missing some players. Now
Yeah.
whether or not they're back for this week's game or not may play a big factor. But as we'll kind of go over here in a minute, um, there's some crazy scenarios up for grabs. And I don't know how much you've looked at the district and how much you've got those down, but I've kind of drawn it out on my iPad over here, kind of went over different scenarios for this week's games. Um, we've got the district championship matchup between Kilgore and Lindale.
Good.
That'll be a good game. Um, the loser will actually have a second round possible matchup with El Campo, which
Mm,
is a state ranked team. So it's really a big game for those two teams to avoid that part of the bracket.
right.
So now I'm sure they'll be pulling out all the stops. I'm sure they've looked ahead to see that same thing. So, but the interesting part of the tiebreakers, and it's basically has five outcomes that could happen. All five have Palestine locked in. So Palestine is locked in
No
for a
matter what.
playoff spot. No matter what happens, they're in at 3-3. They cannot be passed. They have in the tiebreaker scenarios, they have the advantage enough to get a spot. So Palestine's 100% in. Chapel Hill has a 60% chance of making the playoffs. Henderson has a 20% chance, and Maybank has a 20% chance. Now that's just straight up odds. That's not odds of all this stuff happening. That's just the five scenarios. All of them have Palestine in. Three of them have Chapel Hill, and two of them have uh, Maybank. One has Maybank, one has Henderson. So um, what we have here, and the most likely scenario that I see, and this is probably what my pick will be for this week, will be Chapel Hill defeating Henderson and Maybank defeating Athens. Okay, the most likely scenario, in my opinion. Corey, you may differ from me,
I'm
but
not
that's my
picking
opinion.
this week, obviously. Not this week.
Right. And I just don't think that Maybank loses to Athens.
Right.
So that's the likely scenario. If that was to happen, then Chapel Hill would take the 3 seed and Palestine takes the 4 seed. The reason is those three teams will be tied, so then you're going to go to point differential.
Right.
Obviously, Chapel Hill destroyed Maybank, so they get the plus 17 max, and then uh, Maybank has that negative. So no matter what who won the Palestine game, it's kind of inconsequential. Palestine won by 3 against Chapel Hill, lost by 3 against Maybank, so they'll have a 0 in those matchups. So they'll take the 4th seed. So obviously, if you're a Maybank, then you have to have Chapel Hill lose. There's no
Right.
other way. Chapel Hill wins, they're in. That's the next scenario that we have. If Chapel Hill wins and Athens wins, then Chapel Hill is still in, but they'll actually be the 4th seed because it'll be a tie with Palestine straight up, and Palestine beat Chapel Hill. So that will put Chapel Hill in the 4th spot and Palestine in the 3rd spot. So Chapel Hill wins, it's Palestine and Chapel Hill in, depending on the outcome of the other game, even though it's inconsequential to who makes the playoffs in that game, it does matter on the seeding. Okay, so now we want to go down to these other ones that we don't want to have happen, but we have to look at them. So
Right.
we have Henderson and Maybank win. So if Henderson and Maybank win, Maybank actually is the 3rd seed, and Palestine is the 4th seed by virtue of Maybank beating Palestine head up. Okay,
That's still
so
weird.
yeah, it's still weird. Now the 4th scenario is Henderson wins, but they win by 11 points or less, and Athens wins. If this happens, then Palestine's a 3 seed, Chapel Hill's the 4th seed. Chapel Hill still gets in. They must not lose. They must not lose by more than that many points. So 11 or less, and then Athens pulls an upset and beats Maybank. Chapel Hill's backwards into the playoffs. Okay. Now the last scenario is Henderson wins by 12 or more points, and Athens wins. Then Palestine will be the 3rd seed, and Henderson is the 4th seed. Corey, what do you think about that?
So no matter what we're playing for points, we
Mm-hmm.
can't get. No matter what we're playing for points, we can't get it can't be a blowout. So, um, I'm bad at probability. So and that part of math I kind of went to sleep on, but I kind of get the actual odds and everything. But if I'm telling the kids in the locker room, telling them, guys, we just gotta take care of business. We control our own destiny at this point. We win the game, we're in the playoffs. That's it. Easiest we can put it. We have to have our most disciplined, best football game to the season. Nothing else matters this Friday but coming to Henderson, winning the football game no matter what.
Okay, this is
And
Dylanski says if we beat Athens and y'all beat Henderson, we flip a coin. No, I've talked to Chapel Hill coaches, and there's not going to be a coin flip.
yeah,
Okay, there's no coin flip. It's a point differential, um, and I can share this probably up on the screen. That might be beneficial.
but I'm glad
Um,
you brought that up. I'm glad Dylan brought that up though.
yeah,
Dylanski.
yeah. They're not going to flip a coin for a playoff spot. I mean, that's just not.
Too risky.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've got this information from the Chapel Hill coaching staff, so I'm fairly confident in my information. So,
But I'm
basically,
pretty
if this was that,
real.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're not going to just flip a coin. You can't play off. Obviously, there's no time to do that. In basketball, you might play it out. You might
Yeah.
get that
And,
play in
and
game.
yeah.
But in this situation, it's going to go because it's the same situation that we were in last year, and there was no coin flip. It was a differential thing, and that's how we got in.
Yeah.
So, but good point there. I mean, that's good comment. We appreciate the comment. We hope y'all win, Dylan. I mean, that's going to help us.
Yeah.
Y'all win, then we take care of business. Then we get the 3rd seed. So, uh, and then see, Christian says we will beat Henderson. All right, I like the confidence. I like the confidence.
I won't say no. I won't say no to confidence.
Yes, yes.
Gotta
So
have we gotta have a perfect week. So
yeah, And if we come out and play like we did the last week, I feel good about our chances. We're not at home. It's going to be in Henderson. They're a nice complex, and like Corey says, it's a business trip, right, Corey?
It's a business trip. Absolutely. I mean, you by this time of the season, you know what your football team is capable of, and you know what your guys have gone through this season. That 3 game skid was rough. Internally, and getting back in the win column, it can kind of save a lot of stuff. For the rest of the season. So I don't think that. And then Henderson's coming back from a tough loss in Maybank. So this is making up to be one of those games where who wants it more. You got two teams fighting for it. Who wants it more? And you don't want to be on the losing end of that stick. So this is I don't want to say it's less about X's and O's, but more about will. So who wants it more? This is going to be a big game.
So, do we want to talk about this week's game? We want to complete our football and then do basketball. How you want to do it, Corey? What do you think?
Let's talk about this week's game. Absolutely. Let's give them what they want to hear.
All right.
'Cause I want to
So,
talk about it.
okay. Yeah, it might be some people want to hear some basketball talk. You never know.
Well, yeah,
So,
we
what
that all day.
exactly are you looking for this? What exactly are you looking for this week, Corey?
Um, honestly, I'm not a big. I don't like to dab in the X's and O's because I'm not in the film room. But I want to see a complete game. I want to see that. I want to see the best of what we've accomplished thus far this year. I want to see us play a perfect game or as perfect as we can possibly be, because this is the season on the line. Seniors, we don't have a lot of seniors on the team, so I want those guys to come out and to the forefront. Hey, this is it. If we made a miraculous run last year in the playoffs and it was stopped early by Henderson. So this football season's been a little weird. Started off great. Then we had a 3 game skid, and then we're kind of finding ourselves again. So this is an opportunity for those younger players to kind of get that playoff experience and kind of get that win now experience, because the win now experience is totally different. And it's playoff football at this point. You win and you go home. I mean, you lose and you go home. So if you want to keep playing, you got to win. So this is the perfect example of how you want to continue the rest of the season. So I'm anxious to see how we respond.
Yeah, I think the start is going to be big. We tend to play as well as we start. This year, whenever we started well, it's been a good result, and so I think that's one of the keys. I think uh, stopping up the middle. We've leaked that a few times last week or last game, but a few games before that, that's kind of leaked out. And I like to see what all they've added in the 2 weeks they have had since we played last
Right.
for Bribson. I mean, obviously, he's just now growing into the quarterback position. They've had to adjust and tinker with the offense a little bit. So I'll be interested to see what kind of wrinkle they've added in a couple weeks, because now they've had some time to get him some practice reps,
Right.
which he hasn't had a lot of. He came in, was that in the Palestine game, so he didn't have any reps before that one. So that was 2 losses. In the Kilgore game, it was his first full week of practice, got thrown in there, played okay, but you could tell. I mean, he hadn't got a chance to get the starting reps. So you got him another week of practice, and he looked really, really good in the Maybank game. So 2 more weeks of practice, you got to imagine that he's just going to be that much more comfortable starting.
Absolutely. I mean,
So
you had 2 weeks. You had 2 weeks to game plan. This is 2 weeks of practice on a game plan and construct a game plan that fits his attributes. And you're going into a game where you have to. I need the best of what he can actually do, and this is the perfect time to. Hey, we're gonna pull out the first couple of series on offense. It should be boom, boom, boom. If we're
yeah,
not scoring in 3 or 4 plays, or if we got a 20-yarder or something down the field, this is it. Get his confidence going early. Let's get quick strikes, get him down the field, get him going. We should look really good on the offensive end the first few series. I can tell you that much.
yeah, and you got to think too that Henderson's been focused on Maybank last week. Chapel
Yeah.
Hill's focus has been Henderson for the last 2 weeks, ever since that Maybank game ended. So Henderson's got a quick turnaround off of a overtime loss that has
Yes.
basically put them in a very tough position.
It's a little
So now
embarrassing.
turn.
We lost too.
Yeah, I'm still surprised. Um, I just thought that Henderson, and evidently, um, they're just maybe with the new coach, is they just haven't quite put it all together yet. You know, we had the coaching change a few years ago in that first season. Now, a lot of it was the schedule, but you have a lot of growing pains that you have when you have a coaching change
Yeah.
most of the time. Now, Kilgore hasn't seemed to have had much growing pains. They just slid a new coach in and are clicking right along. But Henderson's has seemed to not quite gone as smoothly. I don't know if it's just maybe they're down talent wise this year, or if it's just kind of a combination of some of things. But I'm just really surprised um, that this slide they're on. I mean, you know they have the potential,
Yeah.
seeing that they almost beat Kilgore a few weeks ago. Um, so that shows you a lot right there.
So I mean, what's funny about it? You don't necessarily have to teach teams or programs how to win football games. If you've been winning for 20 years, you've always won. I don't have to teach you how to win football games. You know what to do. You know the right things to do. Now, scheme wise, yeah, you can scheme a different way. You could, have a different scheme, sure, but teaching linemen how to block, you don't have to reteach that. They know how to. They've been taught how to block since middle school. So you just kind of advance that over. But I don't have to reteach good football players how to win football games. Winning is contagious, but maybe it's just a mental block. But I don't know, man. They did not look the same. They did not look like a normal Henderson football team versus Maybank. Maybank looked like a completely different football team.
Yeah, it definitely was the case. Like I said, I was just surprised at the game score. I really was. Um, well, we've got uh, Lindale and Kilgore. What do you think about that game, Corey? I mean, I know we're going to be picking those games here shortly, but uh, what's your take on that game?
I as much as I dislike Lindale, I actually think they're probably going to win district. I think that preseason, to me, the advantage that their preseason schedule gave them was perfect. And I don't think they're as good as they were last year as far as individual talent. But I think collectively, I think their coaching staff is pretty smart. They've done their due diligence and scouted a bunch of teams, but they prepared their kids for how tough the district was. And it may not have been as tough as their preseason schedule, but it's okay if you're 2-3, in preseason and you win every single game in district. I'm okay with that. If that's the
Well,
case,
ask
that's
yeah,
fine.
because ask Athens if they'd rather flip theirs. You know,
Absolutely.
they're sitting 4-0 coming into the district play, and now they hadn't won a game since.
Absolutely.
Um, so I mean, Henderson's kind of thinking the same thing. You know, they won a lot of games in preseason
For
for
some
district, and
get tested. It's okay to get tested. That's exactly where you are. Lindale almost beat Carthage. Or was it Gilmer or Carthage? I can't remember. I think it was Gilmer. They almost beat Gilmer this year in
yeah,
in regular season. So I mean that there
that
was
was that was their other loss. It was
yeah,
Gilmer, Van, and Kaufman,
yeah.
and none of those losses are bad. I mean, Kaufman's not ranked now, but they're in the district with um,
Was it
your
Terrell?
team,
Yeah.
Argyle, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're in Argyle's district. Yeah, your boys from Argyle. They're in with them. Melissa's in that district. Man, that's a tough district.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think
District.
all four of those teams may meet in the regional semis.
Yep.
I mean, that's how strong that district is. But um, speaking of districts, kind of look down and look at the other district that we might play. Um, would be 10-4A Division One. I kind of looked at it a little bit. I don't know if you looked at it any, Corey, but I was just kind of looking. Basically, right now there's a three-way tie for first place in that district. Um, and some interesting matchups this week. We have Hargrave at Livingston, Lumberton at Vidor, and Little Cypress Mauriceville versus Splendora.
Mm.
So the actual standings are Vidor lost their first game last week in district. They were actually undefeated in district play until last week. Um, so they're now 3-1, 7-1 overall. Little Cypress Mauriceville is 3-1, 7-2 overall. Lumberton is 3-1, 6-3 overall, and Hargrave is 2-2, 7-2 overall. So it looks like from that district you're gonna have Vidor, Little Cypress, Mauriceville, Lumberton, and Hargrave. Livingston not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, had a down year. They
Yeah, and I think, and we saw them, first week, or was that second week?
it was second week.
Second week. We had
Greenville.
uh Terrell first week, didn't we?
Yeah, we had Greenville first week.
Oh, Greenville.
Yeah.
These games have all mixed in together now.
Red and white. That was weird. Greenville Lions, Cheryl Tigers. I mean, it's
They're all red.
yeah,
It was Hallsville was the Ville we went to.
yeah. It was
But anyway, I could tell by only having one quarterback. I mean, basically that was their offense,
right.
and we saw it. We saw it. I mean, as soon as he got hurt, it was over for them. They didn't have anything else. I mean, they were running that guy. That poor. I don't know if he's still not injured now, but they were running him all over the place, and didn't really hand the ball off very much, and took a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine if that's what they were doing the whole season, that's going to be a tough way to win.
They
They
thought
didn't really do a whole lot else.
Athens was the same way, besides their running back. So, I mean, the quarterback wasn't that bad in Athens. I give him that. He wasn't that bad. But the running back, he just kind of ran out of gas. But like you said, I don't think you can survive off of, that quarterback taking that many hits that early.
Yeah,
It's
I
sustainable.
mean, you get your guy injured early, and especially on a game that in essence doesn't really matter a whole lot.
Right.
So, looking at the standings and who's matched up, we've got Hargrave, Livingston. So that game most likely Hargrave takes it. Looks like it's going to be kind of a split, because Vidor, I guess Vidor and Lumberton's an important one
Yeah.
because those two teams are actually tied. So I guess whoever takes that game, most likely Vidor is the favorite to win that district. If they take that game, they'll be the one seed that will put Little Cypress, Mauriceville at 2, and then believe that would still put Lumberton at 3 and Hardgrave at 4. Some sort of order. Those teams won't matter. It'll be those top 2 that we would see. So it would either be Vidor or Little Cypress, Mauriceville, most likely. Don't really know anything about them, but if we win this week, I will find out about them and see what we'll have some information on those matchups. So their district's kind of all in disarray too, kind of all mixed up. Very competitive, it seems like.
It's a decent football.
Kind of more
Football. Not too
yeah.
not too big, not East Texas esque, but and I know LCM's had some pretty good football in the past, and so has Vidor. So I mean, they're probably the big standouts. Lumberton's okay, and then Huffman Hargrave. I mean, they're okay, but I mean, LCM and Vidor probably the big boys in that district.
Yeah, that's most likely who we'll end up with there. Um, but yeah, it's anything else you want to talk about this coming week's game? You want to just go ahead and get into our picks, and we'll get the football part wrapped up, and then we'll start talking a little hoops.
Let's get into the picks. I want to see I just want to see what these picks are all about. That's what I want to see.
All right. So what's the first one we'll do is Chapel Hill at Henderson. Man, I just from what I mean, it's hard to judge. What I saw of the Henderson game, I just don't see them able to contain us. I mean, Maybank was able to move the ball, and we saw how they moved against us and how we moved against them. So I'm gonna go. I don't know if I should do it, but I'm gonna do it, Corey. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say 56-28, Chapel Hill. Now that pick was not from Vince. No, Uncle Mo. That was not from Vince. That was from Brett. That was from Brett Cooper Swinney. Okay. I don't know if you noticed my reference, Corey. I was waiting for you to say something, but I'm gonna have to bring it up. Do you know what the reference is from Brett Cooper Swinney this week?
I don't know what the reference is.
You don't know what the reference is.
I don't know what the
Did
reference.
you watch the game on Sunday Night Foot? Did you watch the game on Sunday Night Football this week?
God, no, I don't watch Cowboy games. I don't watch
You
Cowboy
know
games.
you had it on, Corey. You know you had the game on. It was Sunday Night Football,
No, I did
and
not.
it was Cowboy drama. Must see. So do I need to tell you about what happened? Do you know that Dak Prescott did not play, right?
Unfortunately, Cooper Rush came in and he played well and he had a game winning touchdown.
Cooper,
I watch ESPN. Okay, I watch ESPN.
look who it is. Look who it is. It's our long lost comrade. It's Vincent Johnson. I was Vincent. I was just explaining to Corey here about my new nickname. It's going to be Brett Cooper Swinney after Sunday Night Football game of the Cooper and Cooper connection for the Cowboys win Sunday night. I just was kind of telling him. Didn't know if you caught that game or not. I know you were probably crying about your Texans score
No, we don't watch.
from earlier, but
We don't watch Cowboy
he.
games.
he He's
No,
so excited he was froze. Vince, are you there? Oh, he's having some technical difficulties. He can't hear.
well, while Vince is doing, I'm gonna set my score. I am gonna do my score. I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'm gonna go 41-28 Chapel Hill.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna do. 41-28 Chapel Hill.
All right. We got anybody in the chat wants to put a score in there? Go ahead and get that score in.
Casey Joe. All right.
45-21. Vince,
Okay.
you there now?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here.
All right. Did you hear me a while ago? You missed it.
You said you're Cooper to Cooper.
Yeah, that's my new nickname, Brett Cooper Swinney.
Oh
It's
my
the Cooper to Cooper connection and won the game the other night, so I had to go with them this week as my nickname.
Okay.
See, we can take a good bench player since we have a good team, not like the team down south, or the Texan girls.
Oh wow.
We put our backup in and we still win the game.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football.
Why did I get on here?
I mean, he's
I was.
on one today.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, did they make that trade? Did
No, I
Deshaun
told you
Watson
he ain't
make?
going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
Oh, so
I mean,
hey, maybe he'll start next week.
No.
No.
They're gonna have to play him eventually. They at least got to see him play to let him know that he's able to play. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
it's rough.
I don't know.
All right. Well, Vince, we were just picking scores. Um, we can let you guys, since you hadn't got to talk much. You can talk about anything you want to. We've pretty much covered last week's games that we saw. We covered the playoff matchup scenarios. Do you know all that, or did you want me to go back over that for you?
I don't know the playoff scenario, like matchup scenarios, but I mean, if y'all already gone over it, it's okay.
No, we like your commentary. We want your input, so we're good.
Okay. So yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so basically, first off, we kind of went over what you thought about, and did you get to catch any of the Maybank Henderson game? I know I sent y'all the link. I don't know if you got a chance to.
I watched part of it. I didn't watch all of it, but
Were you as surprised as we were?
I told y'all last week. I'm telling you something. It's matchups, and they don't match up well against us, but against the other teams in this district, they are hard to deal with for some reason. That running game that they have, man, it's weird because I mean I remember before we played them thinking, okay, they're a really good team. They're this, they're that. Make sure, I'm thinking in my mind like, just don't get caught off guard. They're gonna come out here, they're gonna hit us in the mouth, early. And then we got on the field with them, and it was like I said, like they didn't want to be here. It was weird. It's like I don't know if there was somebody injured. I don't know if I don't know what they ate before the game, but they played like they didn't want to play.
Yes.
Like they didn't want to play football. And I was like, that's not the same team that I done heard about playing all the other teams in our district that they fight, that they put up good fights with, you know. So that's what I was saying last week. I was like, I feel like maybe they just had an off week against us, or really, you know, the one thing a lot of people don't like to take into consideration really is the matchups of everything. Like, yeah, just because you beat, just because you beat Kilgore, or just because you beat Henderson doesn't mean, and I beat you doesn't mean I'm supposed to beat Henderson. But that's the way some people look at it. Like, just because, well, I won this game, you won that one, so I must be better than that team. It's all about matchups, man. It's always going to be about matchups. You know, who matches up better against other people. You know, their play styles and stuff like that. So um, they just didn't match up well against us, and that's okay. I mean, that's what I wanted. We won.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. I'll take that win any day. Now we just got to make sure that we take care of business against Henderson, you know, and don't walk into it thinking that we already got a win. Don't walk into it expecting, uh, or not really expecting, but more like, um, don't walk into it feel like you've already won. Just, you know, come in, come, come in like you still need this. Come in like you need this win. You know, show up
Well,
ready to battle, man. Because
so we kind of talked about this earlier, and I'll go over this for so you can have this information. So
mm-hmm,
there's 5 different scenarios that can play out Friday night.
mm-hmm,
Maybank and Henderson have a 20% chance of making the playoffs each. Uh,
mm-hmm,
Chapel Hill has a 60% chance, and Palestine is locked. They're a 100% chance. Now, their seeding can change, but they're in offs. So basically, the scenario that I think is going to happen, and we'll show when we finish the rest of our picks. Chapel Hill wins, Maybank wins. Chapel Hill will be the 3 seed, Palestine the 4 seed. Virtue of Maybank, Palestine, Chapel Hill will all be a tiebreaker, and the big win that we put on Maybank will give us the point differential advantage.
mm-hmm,
So that will put Maybank out, us in third, and Palestine basically is zero because they lost to Maybank by 3 and beat us by 3. So that's how that plays out. Now,
okay,
number 2 is Chapel Hill can win and Athens can win. If that happens, Palestine's the 3 seed, Chapel Hill's the 4 seed. Virtue of it just being a head-to-head tiebreak, Chapel Hill Palestine. If Palestine beat us, they would take the 3rd spot.
mm-hmm,
Okay. Now, the ones we don't want to talk about that we don't want to have happen, but are also options. If Henderson wins and Maybank wins, Maybank is the 3 seed, Palestine is the 4 seed. Virtue of a tiebreaker head to head, Maybank beat Palestine head to head. So they would slide
mm-hmm,
up and actually. So Maybank is either in at 3rd seed or they're out, basically. It comes down to it. Now,
okay,
the 4th option is Henderson by 11 or less, and Athens wins. Then Palestine is the 3 seed, and Chapel Hill is the 4 seed. So the last scenario is Henderson by more than 12 and Athens wins. Then Palestine is the 3 seed. Henderson is the 4 seed. Virtue of the 3-way tie with Henderson, Chapel Hill, and Maybank. Um, Henderson has uh, I think, better differential if they get the point, if they get ahead, if they knock the points off of us.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's your scenarios.
okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't really have any thoughts on it. You know, in my mind, go to Henderson and beat Henderson. That's it. That's all I'm focused on. Go beat Henderson. Let everybody else decide who's supposed to be where, and you just go do what you got to do.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
that's it.
it's easy. I mean, the easy scenario is if Chapel Hill wins, they're in, and there's no way that anybody can take the spot away as long as they take care of business.
Hmm. Just go.
Kind of
Don't even
how.
focus on. Don't even focus on that kind of stuff. I remember, growing up and being those type of positions. I remember the coaches used to kind of explain that stuff to us, but ultimately they would pretty much just let us know like we just need to go do what we got to do. Like don't even worry about this stuff. Let them figure that out. We're gonna do what we're supposed to do. We showed up to win. We showed up to play and win. So
Yep.
let's do that.
All right. So, what's your score prediction? Vince,
Um,
be careful. Be careful with your prediction.
It's too late now. It's already over.
I'm gonna say
All in
Chapel Hill 35.
Uncle Mo's back a little bit. He's visiting now. He's
Yeah,
here.
yeah, he is. It's the mindset, man. They just got to get in a. You gotta have it in your head, man. That it's just some people start out game, and I used to be one of them. You start out these games with butterflies, and then after the first couple of pops, you ready. But some people it take a little bit longer to get in the game, and mentally they just before you know it, the game you behind, and then they just check out already. But um, if we come in headstrong and jump out on them early, I think it'll be 35-21. 35-21.
Oh, and Vince, just so you know, we did go over the predictions for last week, and you and I tied at 6-2.
Mm.
Uh, so I think Casey Joe has 6-2 as well.
Yeah.
Who was the only person that was 5-3? Corey,
I have no.
was that you?
Oh yeah, that was me.
Corey.
The guy that picked Palestine over Lindale. That's who it was.
Mm.
I said I was
Mm,
going
mm,
undefeated
mm.
this week though. Going
So,
undefeated.
so just so you
One of
know,
my losses, is that Michigan game. Remember when I said I wanted to pick Michigan State?
I
Everybody picked.
know, yeah.
I watched that and I sit there and I was like, man, something was
I
telling me
thought the game
Michigan
was
State,
over. I
and
thought
I
the
just
game was
couldn't
over,
do it.
man.
It
Big
was.
Blue was Big Blue was rolling, and then just I don't know.
It's the Jim
uh
effect.
Jim Harbaugh, man. I don't know what it is. You just can't win the big one. I should have
he
known
can't.
better.
Yeah, he can't win the big one.
I feel bad for him because he always has these really good teams, and they get to play in Michigan State and Ohio
Hmm.
State, and it's like they can't win.
Yep.
Just so. But basically, what's now happens is you are now at 41-23 on the season, Vince.
Okay.
Corey is at 39-25, and Pick'em Champ is at 50-14.
Pick champ.
Hey, that was nice this week. I chose a different nickname this week. I thought it was a good one.
That's a cowboy name.
Man, we should have got Blevins back on here.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to him some more. Matter of fact, it'd be nice to get a lot of these kids on here and talk to them. I would love that. Maybe we can do that after the fact.
Maybe do it after the season. After the season, not
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really want to try to get in the middle of their football season, but maybe yeah,
That's
I like
true.
your
I don't
idea.
want to distract. You're right, because I don't want to distract them. Don't want to distract them. Um, yeah.
after the season's a
So
good idea.
after the season would be good.
Okay, so we're on to the next game. Let's go with the big one. Kilgore and Henderson. Man, this is going to be a classic game. I think it's going to be a close one. Um, man, this is a tough one. I know where Corey's leaning because I know he already talked about it a little bit. Um, it is in Lindale, and I will say, from a visitor person going to Lindale,
Okay, I'm tripping because I was like,
Ki-
did he say Kilgore?
Kilgore.
I knew what he meant. I couldn't.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, Kilgore
No,
Henderson.
we are
Okay,
playing
no. I got you.
Did
I
I
got you.
say
I got you.
Henderson?
Lindale and Kilgore.
Lindale
Lindale and
Kilgore.
Kilgore.
Did I
Yeah,
Okay.
say Henderson?
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Lindale and Kilgore. It's going to be in. I was looking at the Chapel Hill game over here, and that's why I guess I read off.
That's cool.
At
No, you
Lindale.
good.
At Lindale.
I'm
So
going with Lindale.
I think so too. It's at Lindale, and you know you're not going to get any calls. Kilgore's
Nope.
not getting a call in Lindale. I mean, it's just the way
Mm-mm.
it is. I
Mm-mm.
mean,
It's
we
not
all
gonna
know
happen.
that, and so I just think that Lindale's now got their way back up into the top 10. They are now 10 in the state rankings,
Yeah,
so it's a top 10 matchup.
and Candace, her son is a monster over there. So nah, I ain't going against that.
I'm just
Yeah,
not picking Kilgore. I don't really care if Lindell wins or loses. I'm just not picking Kilgore.
Well,
So
yeah,
I
somebody.
think it'll be a good game. I just think Lindale. I think Kilgore is very one dimensional. I don't. They didn't have
You
much
know,
passing game.
you have to make Kilgore open up their playbook. You
Uh
really
huh.
do, because they've always been like that, man. They've always been like that. They try to stick to this one dimension. Once they find that little thing that works, they
Yeah,
just
I mean
they keep
we
doing
should
that
have
to you over and over.
we should have beat Kilgore. I mean, if we take those 4 times in the red zone and we cash in with a couple of touchdowns and a field goal or two, then we're right in that game.
Yeah,
And we let them get
mentally that game
ahead.
was just a little overwhelming for some of them,
Yeah,
and which
and
is
we let them get in.
it's
I
okay.
mean, it is what it is, but we let them get ahead, and when you let a team like that with the running game they have get ahead, it's just right in their lap. I mean,
Hmm.
we saw it over and over. Lindell did it to us. Palestine did it to us. Kilgore did it to us.
Every
They got
everybody
ahead,
that
and
beat
they
us
just
did the exact same thing to
like.
us. Yeah.
That's why when I talked about the game with Corey earlier, Vince, I mentioned that the start is so important this week.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
crucial.
You
If
you you have to jump out on them. You have to jump out on them early. Don't
Casey
don't play
Joe,
around with them like you did
uh,
with Maybank.
Casey Joe has Lindell, and Chris
Chris.
has Kilgore. All
Chris.
right, Maybank at Athens. I'm going Maybank. I don't think Athens has a chance. I know it's in Athens, but I just I
Uh,
think Athens is basically playing for nothing, has nothing to lose. I mean, it will be senior night for the seniors,
Yeah.
but Maybank's playing for a spot. Like they're still fighting to get in because they have an easy scenario. It's a little bit harder than ours, but if they win and we lose, then they're in. So, you know, they got to be thinking they have a good chance. So I think that Maybank's going to
Athens
win that game.
they ran into like a bump in the road, and I'm not really sure what that is. Uh, I was I had a conversation with somebody over there, and they wasn't even sure what it was. They just felt like they started out strong, they got a little bit big headed, and they just never recovered from those the second loss they took.
That sounds familiar,
And
actually.
yeah, yeah.
just
So
do it.
I understood it. And I was like, yeah, it happens. And so they're trying to get it back, but it ain't working
It's too late. Oh, it's too late.
they got some talent, but they ain't got the structure around that talent. They ain't got the one of the things that I'll say about us is the our coaching staff and the way that they approach our offense and our defense. Even if you didn't have the talent that we had, you could put 11 guys out there and you could squeeze out a couple of wins with the way they call those plays and stuff. So, um, and for what's going over there in Athens, basically the message I got was that uh, the system ain't there. So with what they do have, it's just hard to bounce back from these losses that they're taking right now. And you trying to get the kids out of that mental state, um, but it ain't working. So I'm gonna go with all that said. I'm going with Maybank.
Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Uh, let's go with district championship matchup in 4A Division Two in this area. Brownsboro at Van.
That's a
They're
good one.
playing. They're playing for the district championship. Van number 10 in the state. They've got wins over Lindale, um, and some other good teams. Brownsboro is sitting at 3-0 in district, 5-4 on the season. They do have a small district, 5 teams in that district. I
Check
mean,
check me out. Check me out. Brown,
five. I mean, five.
Brownsburg win.
I mean, the thing is, like, Mahia is now 1-2
Yeah, it was,
in the district, and 2-7 on the season. They're going to the playoffs.
yeah.
I'm sorry, that's awful. I mean, no
Mm.
offense to Mahia, but
My
come
hair's
on.
normally good though.
We gotta figure out a way in these district alignments. You can't have 5 teams in a district and have 4 teams get in. That's just, I mean, it's bad enough in their 6 teams, but 5. I mean,
I don't know.
Bullard went 0-10 on the season, and they were 1 game away from making the playoffs. All they had to do was win 1 game. I mean,
It's the money. It's the money.
I, I know they won all that, but there's got to be a way though that they can get those. Like we have 7. I mean, I know they're in Division Two, but can we pass off some of these like 7 teams and get a 6 team in there, make it a little more? I don't know. That's just my
They can take,
soapbox. I mean, and all that said, I'm going with Van. Van's too strong. I think that
Yeah, I'm going.
Brownsboro. I think they're a resurging team that's been down for a while. If they win, more power to them. But I'm going Van.
I mean, they're already gonna make the playoffs anyway. So I mean, why not put the icing on the cake and beat Van and start off the season right? But Brownsboro does have a pretty good football tradition. What they did when we were coming up.
Are you getting them mixed up with basketball, Corey? I mean, I know we're going basketball next, but
No, Brownsboro used to be good at football, man. They used to be pretty good at football. Basketball, yeah, they were pretty decent. Just a smaller version of I don't know who, but they used to be pretty
they got
decent at football.
they've got a good little dribblers program though. The
Yeah,
Brownsboro's little dribblers. So, what's y'all's take? I'm taking Van. What y'all
I
got?
got
Oh,
Brownsboro.
I'm going with Van all the way. I mean, my pops is
Cor-
from Van. I'm not picking against Van.
Corey?
Brownsboro. It's only up.
Oh,
It's only up.
God,
you
this
know,
dude, man,
I'm
here we
only
go.
this dude is gonna stay at the bottom.
Hey,
He gonna.
Corey, we're gonna go pick an NFL game. We're gonna pick the Texans game, and you're gonna take the Texans, aren't you?
It depends on who they're playing. It depends. If it's the Jets, I'm taking the Texans.
Oh, the Jets won this week, man. They beat
The Jets
Cincinnati.
just had a quarterback who ain't never played a game throw 400 yards.
Yeah.
Hold on, didn't Cooper? Yeah, Cooper just had. He came out and did whatever against the Vikings.
Hey, but
He,
he's been in the system
Hold
though.
on.
You got to say like they've been grooming him.
man,
Uh,
it's the Vikings. They could afford to not have him play very well.
well, I mean, they had more chances. I mean, there was some time where I thought they were going to blow it out. Couple of chances they had down there and just couldn't take advantage of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been come down to the end. Of course, I don't know how much you watched that game, but man, the penalties on that last drive for the Vikings that they called, oh my goodness. The rest gave them the field goal. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Vikings suck.
Well, you know,
Okay.
how do you really feel about them?
Yeah, tell us how you really feel.
Nah, I'm so sick of watching people get paid to do mediocre stuff, man. Kirk Cousins has been mediocre his whole
How do you watch?
career,
How
man.
do you watch the Texans then? If the Vikings suck, what about the Texans?
I
What are
ain't
they?
paying. Ain't none of them dudes getting paid nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
They,
the Texans. Well,
They ain't getting paid nothing.
they are too. I think they're
This
all getting
dude,
paid.
this dude, Kirk Cousins almost reset the market for quarterbacks, and this dude only wins against teams that are like below 500. Like, man, he remember they were a game away from the playoffs with they were a game away from the Super Bowl with Case Keenum, and they replaced him with him. They
he
ain't been back that close since.
put up
That was the
decent.
dumbest thing I think they ever did.
He put up decent numbers.
Man, I don't care about no numbers.
I
Care
care
about no
about.
numbers.
He puts
All
up
you
decent
do
numbers.
decent numbers. I don't want to hear that.
I'm just saying he
I
puts.
need W's.
I think this is a
Numbers give
great.
you nothing.
I think this is a great time to plug y'all's podcast.
Hey, this happens on That's So Dope. You want to hear this
It's
band?
yeah, yeah. You want to hear me argue? You want to hear me get into it?
It's always a hot take like
you
this. This
you
this
switch over there,
this
and
is
you get
normal.
the other side of me. You get the other
That's so
side that the
dope.
children got to go to bed
Official.
for.
That's so dope. It's an official sponsor of the Bulldog Sports Network.
You thought yeah, yeah. There we go. Yeah, you can hear this all the time.
Yeah, all the
So
time over there.
anyway, let's get back on track because I want to talk some basketball here. So let's see some other games in the area here
We
to
got a
pick from.
we got a
You
big one.
got
Tyler High versus Longview.
oh yeah, that's for second place, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, man.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Good old rivalry.
Well, I'm gonna take Longview. It's in Longview. Uh,
Mm.
I'm gonna take Longview, man. I think they're predominantly have been stronger. I know Tyler High's played well this season. They've had a few injuries. I don't know. Did the quarterback ever? Did they return? Vince, do you know?
I think he was
No,
out.
no, he's done. He's done. Uh,
Yeah.
he uh the word I got is that he fractured his hip, and they don't know if he's gonna play football again.
Mm.
Oh, that's sad. I hate to hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's very serious, and so
Was it similar to
uh,
The Tua injury then?
um,
Wasn't didn't Tua have
so
wasn't his
from
hip
what I
fractured?
yeah, so well, what they saying is that the fracture is inside of the hip, from what I heard. Now, this is all just from what I heard.
Yeah.
The fracture is on the inside of the hip, so it ain't even nothing they can do for it. It just
Mm.
has to heal. But that dude was about to go D1, and they afraid he may not ever play ball again.
Did
That's
he
what
already
they.
sign
That's
a
what.
con?
That's what.
Did he already sign?
I think he had maybe had a verbal commit somewhere.
Oh, I hate
I
to see
had to.
them withdraw his offer after that would
I,
be
I
sad.
think he did. I had to double check that, but everybody was telling me that he was already expected to go D1, and that yeah, now they don't know if he's gonna play ball again ever.
Mm.
And I think the coach and the family are they something about submitting some paperwork going up to Austin because the hit that he took was a little bit of an unnecessary hit is from what now we know football is football, so you can't predict um these type of tragedies, right? You can't control it, but they from what I heard that the team they played at the time, a lot of teams have been kind of fed up with playing them at home and things going on that felt like cheating and stuff. And in this particular case, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he gotten tackled. He was on his way down, and a couple of instead of them, blowing the play dead, they left the play going. And as he hit the ground, like two or three other people jumped on top of him or something like that. I
Well,
think is what happened.
Chris says here that he believes he's done for the year. Also, it says Baylor was looking at him. Wow.
Baylor. Okay. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
also
Oh, I
said
know I know he's done.
it
That's
says
the thing. He's done.
It was
I just
seven
don't know if
yards.
he'll ever play again.
It was 7 yards out of bounds.
And matter of fact, Tommy was at the game. My friend Tommy, he called me when the hit happened and told me what happened. But it's been like 2 weeks now, and I can't even remember exactly how he said it happened. But he said it was one of those things that it, it was bad. It was a bad hit, but it's football, and you can't control those type of things when they happen. So
It just looked bad. It looked worse than what
it
it was.
just it
Basically,
looked worse than what it actually was. So
that makes
All
sense.
right.
it's
All
just
right.
unfortunate. It's just unfortunate.
I've got another district championship matchup. Gilmer at Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that too.
Am I on the same wavelength as you, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I can't pick against Gilmer. I don't think
Yeah, you picking against Gilmer either. Can't
Gilmer. I think they're on a collision course with a rematch with Carthage at Jerry's World.
as
I'm gonna
usual.
take.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Gilmer. Wait, what did I say on the last one? Did I say I'm? What did I say? Corey, what did you put me down as?
You had Van, didn't you?
Yeah, Van. I'm not picking against Van. You didn't pick. You didn't pick Tyler. You didn't pick Tyler or
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah,
I didn't pick Tyler.
you
yeah.
didn't pick Tyler Longview. I took Longview. Corey, did you pick?
Yeah, I picked Tyler.
Okay.
Last week they had a. It was kind of an easy one. They said Sherman wasn't that good.
Nah.
It was Sherman, right? It was Sherman they
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sherman's
everybody
not.
was telling me Sherman wasn't that good, and that was the other game I lost, wasn't it?
I
Was
don't
that the
think.
other game I picked last week?
They beat Sherman. Tyler High beat Sherman 37-20 last week.
Hmm. I'm gonna go with Longview. Tommy's gonna drive. He's gonna
That's disrespectful. Okay.
he
All
gonna
right.
he gonna call me and go crazy, but I don't care. It is what it is. I'm picking Longview.
You're not gonna just pick because you want a long shot, or you just, pick a team because you're friends with them, or
But see, I like that.
Yeah.
You pick out of disrespect. And I appreciate that. I like that. It shows a lot of heart. I like that. You know, I'm always like that. I like the
Hey,
dis.
it's football. It's football. I ain't got no friends. It's football.
Yeah. Why am I, no, if you notice, I've not picked White House yet this entire year. I'm not picking White House for what? I'm not doing that.
well, they aren't. They're not real good to pick anyway. But
Not
10 and
right
0.
now, no.
so
I wouldn't
how
pick them.
many picks is that,
That is
Corey?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks. We can do two more.
So we need one
Yeah.
more, and then our special pick.
We got
We could do legacy if you wanted to. I don't know if you want to do them or if you want to try something else. But you
that was
got
another
something else.
that was another game that was real, a smaller game maybe. Let me go back. It was oh no, wait a minute. Tatum and Sabine.
Okay. Now Gladewater took care of Sabine last week,
Yeah.
so they're basically playing for second place. Then Sabine Tatum, I believe, they both are 3-1, I think, or
So let me
4-1. They've
Uh,
lost one game. They probably both lost to Gladewater, I think.
yeah, Gladewater's running shot in that district.
I think I'm gonna say Tatum.
I'm gonna say Tatum.
Yeah, I like Tatum as well.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
That's where Coach Holman's at Tatum, former Chapel Hill defensive coordinator. He's the head coach at Tatum. He
Mm,
was the defensive coordinator on the two state runs.
okay.
So a little Chapel Hill connection there.
Casey Jones Tatum. Okay. All right. Okay. Got Tatum. Got Tatum. We all picking Tatum. Everybody picking Tatum, I guess. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. We got one more. Do you want to go Russ versus center, or
Well,
you
I
want?
was trying
Oh,
to see if there was any college game that was going to be a big one this week. I don't know if y'all
I'm
looked
done.
at any.
I'm done picking Texas. That's out of the question.
Well,
I'm,
Yeah,
we're not doing
don't
that.
even put
No,
Texas up there.
no,
Do
it
not put
wasn't.
Texas up there.
But now that you mentioned Texas, I was gonna. Hey, did any of y'all watch the Texas basketball game or not?
oh, and I didn't. I've watched the highlights.
Ooh, man, I like the way that. I
Man,
mean, I know it was a D3 team. Don't I mean, but they look intense. They look. The defense was all over the place. I like the way they look. I know in the
yeah.
past we played these little rinky-dink games, and we tend to like play around with them and stay too close for most of the game. I mean, we
Uh-huh.
just bulldozed them from the beginning. I think we won by 50 or 60 points, and it was just, and they all like he shuffled everybody in.
Chris Beard doesn't play, so
Yeah, it
he,
was,
yeah,
and,
he's the right guy.
and we've got a ton of players. They're gonna have fighting for minutes. I mean, this is. I was just looking at the list, all those transfers we have.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
this
scoop all the ground balls in transfer category.
this year, this could be. I mean, legit like Big 12 championship, like Final
Number
Four aspirations.
we're ranked number 4 in the country right now. So
Five, I think.
number 4. I thought it was 5 or 4.
Well, it was five on the screen when I watched the game the other night. And I don't know what poll that was.
Okay.
I think Kansas is like right ahead of us.
Yeah, Kansas is always up there. They'll give a I'm not buying that. Kansas hadn't been Kansas since 2008.
Now there's a game that we all need to keep in mind. And I know we're kind of getting off topic here. We're moving toward basketball, but Texas at Gonzaga, November 13th. Mark it on your calendar, guys.
I'll be watching that, of course.
I think everybody is.
Number one Gonzaga on the road. That would be huge if Texas was able to grab that. If we don't win, then it's just okay. It was in Spokane at Gonzaga, number one team. If they do win, that's one later that you can hang your hat on when you're trying to fight for those top seeds.
Yeah, the preseason to me, like just tournament time, those are all just good games to kind of pitch in. But when you get into the actual thick of the season, that's when it gets rough.
Yeah, well, but I mean, still, those games still count whenever you're trying to fight for those.
Oh, sure.
Even though, yeah, I think we're gonna get better as the season goes because of the kind of intermingle all those guys in. Let's see, I'm trying to pull up the college football schedule here. Let's see, schedule. I was gonna see if there was any like huge games that might be ones to pick. Let's see. I don't see those. Auburn at A&M. That would be a. Of course, I'm not going to pick A&M, so that would just be a.
I mean, like, why would I pick A&M at this point?
I don't see any that stand out. There's not a whole lot of teams ranked playing each other. That one's one. LSU Alabama used to be a good game, but it's going to be a blowout this season. Sorry, Rob. Your LSU team's just not any good.
It's not a really good week of football.
There's not really any good matchups. There's really not. There's some games that are interesting, but none of them that are really like seed. That was the only game I see that two ranked teams that I see on the schedule.
I mean, Michigan. That's a game. Purdue versus Michigan.
We'll go ahead and pick an NFL game.
NFL, that's a good one.
Well, I would have said the Green Bay game,
but Texans at Dolphins.
No, we're not doing that.
You
scratch that right now. Scratch that right now.
Come on, guys.
Green Bay versus Kansas City is a good pick. That's a good game.
Well, it would have been. Aaron Rodgers ain't playing.
There's COVID. He's got COVID.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It would have been a good game, but. And honestly, Kansas City's struggling right now. I don't know how them Kansas City guys are feeling right now, but they I can talk all day on that, but I'm gonna say that for that's so dope. I'm gonna say that for that's so dope. So
let's see. I'm trying to see. I don't really see a whole lot of good matchups. I mean, you could pick that team in the California that the Jimmy G's.
Oh,
they taking the L this week.
I don't know about that. We might
Arizona play.
Yeah, we might.
Arizona's playing San Francisco.
We might be Arizona.
Oh, okay.
We almost beat them last time. They're
not invincible, but you're gonna have to put up some numbers.
That's okay. It's all right.
You got to put up some numbers.
I see Tennessee at Los Angeles would have been a good one, but Henry's out for the season. Yes, I saw that.
He's out. Yeah,
it's trash. Then Odell Beckham Jr. He's not even playing anymore. That's crazy. He
got told to go home. I had to make sure. So is that real? Did that really happen?
Yeah, that really happened.
So he got told to go home. He is not with the team anymore.
Yeah.
Somebody will pick him up if he is released.
He going to Green Bay.
Only way I'd go to Green Bay if I'd be assured that whatchamacallit was still going to play again. All the way I'm going to Green Bay if I'm sure Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, but that's how you lock it in. That's how you lock it in right there.
Not with Odell Beckham. That's not a good way of locking in. He's not a commit. Not with that.
What? Yeah, you get him another weapon. He ain't got nothing to argue about.
He can come to San Francisco. We'll take him.
Nah, see, that's all you want. That's what you want. You just trying to set that up.
we just don't have a good game to pick this week, guys. I mean, it's just not really a good.
I'm
Oh
telling you,
man,
Kansas City versus Green Bay. It's a good one. That's a good game.
I mean, no Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking Kansas City. I don't care how bad. I just think that without Aaron Rodgers, I mean,
They can
you're just
still
not.
be Kansas City. All they gotta do is run the football. Kansas City is trash this year.
I wouldn't say trash.
And not
Man,
that great.
They still have Patrick
I don't know.
Mahomes.
I don't, but I mean, he throwing. Man, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna say that for that's so dope because I mean,
Figured them out.
because
I'm just
bro, listen, the Giants was about to handle it. It's hard to even say that and mean it. The Giants was about to put it on them.
although the Giants aren't that bad. I would say the Giants aren't that
The
bad.
Giants is like the.
The Giants aren't that bad. They just don't know how to win football games, but they aren't that bad. The Eagles aren't that bad. They just don't know how to foot. The Washington
Blevin said Mahomes has thrown 10 interceptions.
all sidearm.
It's that gunslinger, man. Like everybody knew it was coming.
It was
Knew
We
it was
can
coming, man. Ain't
we
no
can take that
gunslinger out
game,
here
man.
ain't throwing no picks.
football.
Y'all take Green Bay. I'm gonna take Mahomes in Kansas City in that one. Y'all
He's
go ahead
gonna
and take Green Bay.
Well, you
Y'all
know
want
Green
to?
Bay is my other squad, so I'm gonna go with Green Bay regardless.
I'm picking Green Bay.
Right. You would have to have somebody that's actually winning.
Wow.
Boy, this guy. See,
I
this
know.
is this is why you can't let the Cowboys win
I
nothing.
swear, like they want.
Because
Like,
they
we gonna,
come out, boy. They vultures, man. Yeah, y'all Cowboy fans are vultures. Y'all look for
I'm,
anybody to eat on.
I'm always ready, man. I don't care if my Cowboys win or not. I'm just a Cowboys fan at heart, man.
he changed his name to Cooper in the middle of the season. Just
Yeah, in the middle of the season. It's just my name Cooper now.
Did y'all
You
see
address
that
me as
though?
Cooper.
Cooper Cooper Rush, only start in NFL history, comes out and throws that many yards and leads his team to a win. And you had Amari Cooper like hurt the whole drive, trying to
he's
rough it through. Had a tennis ball over there trying to rub out his leg. Comes in the game and makes
Man,
a ridiculous catch in the back
Amari
of the end zone for a touchdown.
Cooper's always hurt. He's hurt every week.
But he still
every week.
plays.
He's a
Every
He
week.
still
decoy.
he still produces.
He's a decoy.
Man,
Decoy
and they
for
probably and they probably say that just so people take it easy on them. That's what's happening.
And
Just so
watch there.
people take it easy, and then he come out there and go crazy.
all right. So am I the only one that's taking Kansas City?
I think you're the only one stirring the Kool-Aid there.
Yeah,
Hey, that's all
yeah.
right. I'm good with that. All right. So we're going long tonight. We're gonna have to get some basketball in here quick, Corey. I'm excited about this though. I'm excited. So we're gonna start this season Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Bulldog Sports Network, opening with the girls hosting Pine
Mm.
Tree. Now, I got to talk to Coach Riley today. He's got a couple of players injured, so he won't have everybody. I believe it's Kylie Griffin. I believe it's the sister of what is it?
Kaylin,
Kaylin Griffin. Yeah, the
shout out to
sister.
her on the ULM. I mean
Yeah,
UL.
she is ranked number 12 in the nation softball rankings. She is
Yeah,
going to be out of town at a softball tournament, so she won't be able to be there.
yeah.
Um, but it should be interesting. I want to pull up a roster. A lot of the players that we covered last season, you guys still have a lot of the same players on both teams, boys and girls. Um, and so it should be a pretty good season. Corey, what's your take on this season? What are your expectations?
Um, Playoffs for sure. Both teams. Um, I'm anxious to see how the girls responded. I think they kind of came along late last year. Um, they lost some key players. But it's Coach Riley's second year there, so he's got a chance to implement his system in and get the girls there. Now they've had a full off season, COVID less, interfering with that. And so they've kind of had a good off season, a good preseason, getting them in, getting them worked out. And so that's going to help them. Boys basketball, I'm anxious to see how the team responds. They have a very difficult schedule this year, and it's really going to test them for sure. They're going to be big, so I hope we're able to make adjustments and play inside out, traditional basketball inside out. I don't see why we shouldn't be able to go inside out with that size. So I'm anxious to see how we perform this year for real.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. We've lost. We stole Jared Jones. He graduated. Now he's with us now. I think of all the players that they graduate, I think that's going to be the key. Can they replace Jared on the inside? Because you didn't have a lot of guys in there willing to get in and rebound, and
Yeah,
so you caught a lot of times when he was on the bench with foul trouble or otherwise, a lot of guys standing around and watching,
yeah,
like waiting for him to come off the bench and get the rebound. And so this year, that's not going to be the case. They're going to have to get in there and get on the boards. I'm interested to see how that works. Um, I'm also interested to see, like kind of like Corey said, can we get some inside presence? We hadn't had a
Mm.
lot of that the last year. It was a lot of threes, a lot of penetration. I'm interested to see if we can establish Huddleston inside. I'm interested to see if we can establish what's the other young man's name? Kent Murphy. He had a couple of games that he sparked and had some inside
yeah.
presence.
The Henderson game was probably his career game when
Yeah,
he won.
yeah, he
Right,
was showing out that game.
he was fantastic. But even though we're bigger, we should be bigger than half of the team we play this year. And of course, we'll go to the Whataburger tournament in Fort Worth, and we're gonna kind of test what we're made of because those Dallas schools are always rough. Um, I mean, they played a lot of good. They played a lot of basketball game over the summer too. So I'm anxious to see how they respond and how they play because it's hard to kind of teach guys how to win games. I I'm just anxious. I just want to see us play a different style. I'm anxious to see how we play. I want to see us to play a different style, a more controlled style. I want to see us be more dominant. You know, Last year I don't think we were that as dominant as we could have been, especially interiorly, especially in the district. We got some games. We had some games that got away from us, and we should have dominated the game on the inside instead of shooting 3 pointers. Like I
It's
said, we probably one of the biggest teams in East Texas. Hey, we're not scoring high percentage baskets, and out rebounding teams. Like I don't know, but I'm
And then another key, Corey, and you sent me this video this week, is to integrate the freshman quarterback is also a pretty damn good basketball player, as the
that's a cheat.
highlights suggested.
That's a cheat.
Uh, so yeah, Demetrius Brisbane, welcome to varsity basketball as well.
And then
So
he gets the steal, and if you didn't see how he gets the steal and goes up and gets the dunk. Now I've watched a lot of basketball in my day. If I see a 14-year-old kid, do that, I'm kind of starting at 14. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm watching.
so it'll be interesting to see how he intermingles. You also have Javen Mayfield should be
Yep.
more of an integral part of the offense this year. He kind of got a chance to step up at the end. Kind of was forced into action last year as a freshman more than coach expected, even down the stretch. So I think that game that he got toward the end of the season is going to help him this year.
Yeah,
And so you've got those two guys, and then of course the junior group we know has got talent. Barry Watkins, McGregor, the transfer Mumphrey from White Oak, all first team all district at White Oak, is now transferred in, and then you've got of course Huddleston inside. Then you got two seniors on this group, so you got Murphy and Chetland. Now, Chetland didn't see a lot of action last year. We'll see how he integrates in. But if you look at this team, this is a 2-year project almost. I mean, you've got you've got 2 seasons now. I know you can't predict the future, injuries, all that. You don't want to ever take anything for granted. But I mean, you really got a core group for 2 years that you've got to build and get in the offense and get rolling. So I'll be interested to see. Um, I think we'll be a little deeper this year. Um, I think last year we had a couple guys graduate, but I think, with this group, with the transfers and the additions of the freshmen, and also with Mayfield getting more game time. And you're talking, you know, 7, 8 guys rotating in and out. So I think that'll be an important factor with the way that Coach Johnson likes to play the up tempo. Um, so I think that's going to be important. Now we got some comments down here. Good to see y'all stick around for our basketball chat.
Yeah,
Chris says Huddleston and Watkins in the paint and on the blocks will be huge. I agree. Uh, that would be good if we could get both those guys down inside.
that big dream inside
Uh,
out, hollow action. I like it.
Casey Joe, would y'all be able to post the schedule for both teams? Yes, we should have the schedule. I will say that I've started to add the games we're broadcasting this year on the Bulldog Sports Network to all our pages and YouTube channels. So you'll see the event, kind of like for this show. You'll see events. You can actually go in and say, I think you can say, I think it's like subscribe, not subscribe, but it's like schedule it, like it'll add to your schedule and it'll notify you.
Yeah,
So that's one way to know when we're going to be broadcasting. We're going to be broadcasting around 25 games total between the girls and the boys. Um, Jared Jones, our intern, is also going to be doing some games on his network. Will be simulcast on the Bulldog Sports Network. His network is the Antler Sports Network. We posted on our page. Just be looking out for that, as he's kind of starting that up on his own. So we want to kind of give him some help and some publicity with his own network that he's got going. So I know he's going to like the Whataburger tournament and some of the other longer distance away, and he's going to do some radio. But it will be streaming. It'll have a scoreboard on there, so some exciting things for the whole Bulldog Sports Network family. So just be looking for that. I believe if you're looking for the full schedule, you can definitely get it off the website, Chapel Hill website, be www.chapelhillisd.org, and go to the high school page under athletics, and they have the schedules listed. I'll
yeah,
try to post one, but we'll have our schedule on our page, like the games that we're going to cover. Like I said, we'll have the entire boys district season will be covered. We'll also have some home games, pre-district for boys and girls. I think we'll cover one girls district game just because of the conflicts. We can't cover both.
yeah.
Um, and we may have Jared sneak out to a few of the girls games and do radio as well. We've talked about that. So, um, but yeah, we'll have those games out. I think I've got all the November games now posted on our site. So you should be able to go there and see which games we'll have. Um, that answers your question. I know it was a little long-winded, but it was a good question, Casey Joe.
Yes. So I'm watching the Mavs play, and we're beating. We're up on the San Antonio Spurs. It's basketball season, so I gotta kind of pay attention to the Mavs a little bit.
Yeah,
But
there we go. There's it. Thanks, I appreciate y'all. And Casey Joe, always you or anyone else, if you have any questions or you know ask whether if we're going to do a game or what else, anything, just reach out to us, and we'll get you that information. Like I said, we're going to try to do pretty much all the home games that we can, and then we'll always travel on district to the district games. So I'm not sure, Corey. Are you able to do all these, or I know we've talked about your last year you just were our Tuesday man. Are you going to be a Tuesday and Friday night man this year?
Friday, hopefully. Tuesday and Friday, hopefully. I still waiting on some pending schedule changes. So, but I'll let you know
All
pretty
right,
soon.
good deal. Well, yeah, awesome. If we need to, we get Vince to fill in for you, cover some basketball.
Yeah, Vince do some color commentary.
And yeah,
They don't want me doing that.
Wait a minute. I don't know if y'all want Vince doing basketball. Last time I
No,
had Vince and JD watching the NBA Finals, NBA playoffs. I don't know if we don't have any color
yeah,
comment.
yeah. I'm gonna be out there screaming touchdown.
DeAndre Ayton wanted no part of that conversation.
we're also still looking for sponsors for basketball season. So we really need some more sponsors to be able to get some things paid off and taken care of. So if you know anybody or anybody out there that wants to sponsor that's listening, feel free to reach out to the Bulldog Sports Network on Facebook, and we'll get you some more information on that. we've got several. Uh, Also, Sonos Insurance is our
Sure.
main basketball sponsor right now. He is a sponsor for all season. So
Hmm.
shout out to Zoe. Thanks for sponsoring our show and for basketball season. But yeah. Oh, and also one of our sponsors is That's So Dope. You want to talk about that again?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
that's a
dope.
no podcast. Me, JD, and Vince. If you guys like listening to us, all of our commentary, color commentary, we dive into sports, movies, which we'll be getting into a lot later on this year. A lot of our movie stuff, and then of course the regular stuff about sports and entertainment. We kind of cut loose a little bit, so that's what we do.
Hmm. Pretty much. That's what we do.
He's being
Thanks for your commentary. Thanks for your commentary, Vince.
I tried, man. I
There's
tried.
not much we can say. You just gotta
I
listen.
wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Well, I mean, I'm ready. This is going to be a fun weekend.
Yes.
We'll have the game this weekend. Basically, win or go home in Henderson, Chapel Hill versus Henderson on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Pregame show will be on provided by Jared on the Bulldog Sports Network. Will come on around 7 p.m.
Shout out to Jerry.
We'll,
Job, man.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
yeah. Then we'll have our basketball coverage this Saturday. Chapel Hill hosting Pine Tree, the home opener and also season opener for the Lady Bulldogs. So it should be a good deal. Uh, yeah, just Chris, just reach out to me on Facebook, man, and I'll get you that information. Thanks for the interest. But yeah, we'll basically um, we'll get this season started. We'll have a lot of the girls' games at first. The boys, I think's first game we'll cover will be next Saturday. They will host Chapel Hill Mount Pleasant. Now, I'm not sure what team will be on the court at that point. Depending on how football goes, we still might be playing football, so that could be interesting. I think last year, the first game we covered, was that. I don't know if you covered that one. I think it was. I think Logan covered it with me,
Yeah.
but we had uh, the basketball team actually had got hit with the COVID, and it was all football players. And
Mm,
so the guys came basically right off the football field onto the court, and it was really interesting. I mean, if they'd already been done with football, that game probably would have been canceled. But they actually had enough players between the JV and varsity to field a team. Actually, still picked up the win. So hopefully, we won't have any of that interruption this year, and we'll be able to won't have any canceled games. I know that happened last year a lot with the girls' games. We had several canceled, and so hopefully we can get more of their games and cover them. I enjoy covering the girls. Coach Riley's done a great job with the program in this short time there, and there's high expectations for them as well. So it'll be good to get this team, and hopefully, if it all works out, both teams make the playoffs. If we're able to cover the girls, we will. So uh, just make sure you keep eyes out for that. Any last closing thoughts, anybody? Corey, Vince?
it's gonna be a big week, man. Big weeks of sports for Chapel
Yeah.
Hill. When to go home,
Don't miss out. You know,
need that.
if you can't be there, you can always watch it on TexanLive.com. Um, like Corey said, big week. So
Yeah, Logan will be back with us this week after his illness. So glad he's feeling better. He's able to get out there and call the game with me right now. So it should be a good one. Hopefully, kind of kickstart the playoff run.
Right on.
okay.
All right. Well, again, thanks for tuning in tonight. If you missed it, you can catch this on all our channels: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You can also catch this in podcast form. Just search for Bulldog Sports Network. That we'll have this up sometime this evening or tomorrow morning, and you can catch it on the audio form and all the local podcast platforms. So uh, for Vince, Corey, I'm Brett. Signing out. We'll catch you next time right here on the Bulldog Sports Network wrap up show.
Yes, sir.